Daniel Cross had conquered boardrooms, markets, and men twice his size, but nothing in his life had ever prepared him for the quiet weight of a small hand resting in his. The cafe was warm, modern, filled with the soft clatter of cups and low conversations, yet to Daniel it felt like another battlefield, one where he had already lost too many times. His daughter, Lily, sat across from him at the wooden table, her legs swinging slightly, her fingers wrapped tightly around a worn little teddy bear she refused to let go of. Lily was 6 years old, bright-eyed, observant, and mute since birth. Doctors had called it a rare neurological condition, therapists had offered hope in percentages and timelines that never came true. Daniel had thrown money at the problem the way he solved everything else, private specialists, elite institutions, experimental therapies, but silence remained. Lily didn't complain. She never cried loudly, never demanded anything. She spoke with her eyes, with the careful tilt of her head, with tiny gestures only her father had learned to read. That morning, Daniel had brought her to the cafe not for coffee, but for normalcy. He wanted her to see life beyond hospital rooms and therapy offices, to feel like a regular child sitting with her father on an ordinary day. Lily watched people with fascination, the barista steaming milk, a couple laughing near the window, a woman typing on her laptop 2 tables away. Daniel followed her gaze, then looked down at his phone, emails piling up, deals waiting, but for once he didn't care. Lily tugged gently at his sleeve and pointed to a picture menu near the counter. Daniel smiled, nodded, and stood to order, rehearsing in his mind how he would once again explain to a stranger that his daughter couldn't speak, that she would point instead, that no, she wasn't rude, she just communicated differently. When he returned with a hot chocolate for Lily and black coffee for himself, he noticed the young woman from the other table approaching them. She was calm, unassuming, dressed simply, with kind eyes that didn't look at Lily with pity or curiosity, but recognition. Daniel's guard went up instantly. Years of awkward encounters had trained him well. Before he could speak, the woman crouched slightly to Lily's level and did something that made time stop. Her hands moved gracefully, deliberately, forming shapes in the air. Lily's eyes widened. Her grip on the teddy loosened. Slowly, almost cautiously, Lily lifted her own hands and responded. Daniel froze. His coffee cup hovered midair as he watched a conversation unfold without a single sound. The woman smiled and signed again. Lily giggled silently, her shoulders bouncing with excitement, her fingers moving faster now, more confidently than Daniel had ever seen. His heart slammed against his ribs. He had seen therapists try to engage Lily, instructors attempt basic signs, but Lily had always been hesitant, reserved, as if afraid of getting it wrong. Now she was alive in a way he had never witnessed. Daniel stood abruptly, startling himself, but the woman didn't flinch. She looked up at him and, for the first time, signed something directly to him before speaking softly, "I hope you don't mind." I asked her if she likes teddy bears. Daniel swallowed hard. His voice failed him, irony not lost. He shook his head slowly, managing a whisper. She's never done that before." The woman introduced herself as Emma, explaining she had grown up with deaf parents and learned sign language before she could even speak. To her, this wasn't extraordinary, it was just communication. But to Daniel, it felt like a miracle unfolding in a cafe between chipped mugs and casual strangers. Lily reached for Emma's hand, pulling her closer, signing eagerly, her face glowing with pride. Emma laughed softly, translating as she went. Lily liked the cocoa, her teddy was named Oliver, and she thought Emma's hands were happy. Daniel felt tears blur his vision, something no hostile takeover had ever managed to do. For years, he had blamed himself, his absence, his ambition, his belief that money could fix anything. Sitting there, watching his daughter finally be understood without effort, he realized how wrong he had been. Silence wasn't Lily's prison, isolation was. And for the first time, someone had opened the door without asking for anything in return. Other patrons began to notice, not with judgment, but warmth. A little boy waved at Lily, she waved back, signing something Emma translated as "Hello, friend." Daniel laughed through tears, a sound that surprised even him. He invited Emma to sit, and the three of them talked, Daniel with words, Lily with signs, Emma bridging worlds effortlessly. Time slipped by unnoticed. Daniel learned that Emma worked at a community center teaching sign language to children and parents alike, often for free. Communication shouldn't be a luxury, she said simply. That sentence struck Daniel harder than any market crash. He had built an empire on exclusivity, on access only the wealthy could afford, yet here was something priceless offered freely. When it was time to leave, Lily hugged Emma tightly, signing something that made Emma's eyes shine. "She says thank you for hearing me," Emma translated. Daniel extended his hand, then pulled Emma into a grateful embrace instead. He knew this moment would mark a turning point, not just for Lily, but for him. As they walked out into the sunlight, Lily's hand in his felt lighter, confident, as if she were guiding him now. That evening, Daniel canceled meetings and sat on the floor learning signs from online videos, determined to enter his daughter's world fully at last. The next weeks changed everything. He enrolled in Emma's classes, funded programs without branding them with his name, and most importantly, he listened, truly listened, to Lily in the way she needed. The cafe encounter spread through his memory like a quiet revolution, reminding him that miracles don't always arrive with noise, sometimes they speak in hands and hearts. If this story moved you, if you believe small moments can change lives, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Stories like this remind us why empathy matters, and by subscribing, you become part of a community that believes in hope, connection, and the power of being truly seen.